welcome to Unbiased, the flagship podcast from Absalom and Shepherd Attorneys. My name is Simbarashe Absalom Murandoti, and today I'm excited. I'm happy because we've been graced by the presence of a trailblazing, amazing entrepreneur from the United States of America, Raymond Leonard. Raymond, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. First of all, Raymond, I just want to express our sincere gratitude for us having you today, for you having us today, coming and honoring our invitation. It means a lot to me and to the firm. Thank you.
And I thank you for having me. It's such a great honor to be in your midst today. And I'm thankful that you saw that I would fit to be here in your presence today.
Awesome. So Raymond, you are a real estate entrepreneur and a philanthropist. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do so that those viewing the podcast might know?
Well, I'm here. I'm from the USA, and I'm here in Zimbabwe just to explore different opportunities. And I see that real estate is a great opportunity to have here in Zimbabwe, that I can actually make a difference not only in my life, but in the lives of other people through real estate.
Awesome. And I like the fact that, the central theme of what you're saying is service to other people.
Yes.
And I guess that's where the philanthropy aspect comes in. Yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your efforts in the real estate business? Not only your plans in Zimbabwe, but also what you've achieved in the real estate business, maybe in the United States or wherever you've been active in business.
Well, in the United States, I have my own business, which is Leonard's Realty, and I'm in the process of starting Raymond Realty here in Zimbabwe. There in the United States, I manage other properties of other people, and I also have my own properties that I manage. And so right now, I manage roughly 150 properties of other people, and I probably own about 30 properties of my own. And so I want to transfer that knowledge over here to Zimbabwe, where I plans to start purchasing land and also start building on clusters here that I can make it affordable for all peoples of every economic group.
Awesome. And why Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe, actually for me to go into detail, I believe that it was a calling to send me here to Zimbabwe.
All right.
I don't think it was a choice of my own. I think it was divine appointed that I come to Zimbabwe. I believe that the Almighty sends people in different places. So I'm on a mission here for God here in Zimbabwe. And so I find that it's very fascinating for me to be here in Zimbabwe. I feel a sense of comfort, a sense of peace, and I see the needs for the people. And I believe that I can contribute to the welfare of all mankind here in Zimbabwe.
Perfect. And I'm thoroughly inspired listening to you talk. So to someone who's watching us, Raymond, and who might also want to venture into real estate, and who's saying, this is an accomplished business person who's been in real estate, what challenges did he face coming up in this particular sector?
The challenges always come with finding out where you're going to get the resources to do what you need to do. There in America, it may be a little easier because if you have good credit, then you always can go to the bank and the bank will back you in that. So America lives on credit, but here in Zimbabwe, you have to find your own resources and different things that you can do. I believe that resources come over time and over a period of time. If you have a focus and have a goal, then you can begin to plan early, a little here, a little there, and you will find out over time that you will have something that you will have to contribute, that you'll be able to buy a stand or buy a piece of land to do that. I think that all young people, elderly people, all people, real estate is something that will never go away. It will always increase.
Yeah.
And so that's something that you never have to worry about whether you're making the right decision or the wrong decision. There's no wrong decision in real estate.
So you're always going to see your piece of land.
Yes.
You're not going to wake up one day and you've forgotten the password, like we saw with cryptocurrency.
Right.
I hear there's someone who's only left with 2 attempts to access $125 million worth of Bitcoin. So yeah, I get what you're saying. Prayers to that person, by the way. So you've spoken about the access to resources as the formidable challenge. How would because I'm trying to think in terms of someone watching us who says, I'm inspired by Raymond. I want to do what Raymond has done. And we are in a system, like you rightly point out, where we may not have access to credit as other nations have. But that's both a blessing and a curse, isn't it?
It definitely is.
Because credit might also not be the best thing for all mankind.
For all mankind.
So there's this thing that's coming up the waves called real estate investment trusts. Basically, people are pooling resources together and investing in real estate, and they're doing it through the instrument of real estate investment trusts. And it's all the jazz right now, Raymond. I just wanted to pick your mind on that. Do you think it works in the long term if people do not have, or if I as an island do not have the resources to purchase real estate on my own? Getting into a collective, do you think that's a good idea?
Well, that's a smart way to go is if families could come together and pool their resources together, it make it easier on all parties. Mm-hmm. And if you continue to do that, pretty soon, every individual will be able to go out on their own because they will have the revenue and the resources that's coming into their household that they can change their lifetime.
Okay.
You have to start somewhere. And unfortunately, we know that we have to find people that we can trust, people that's going to be fair with you, people that has your best interests, and you have their best interests. And if you can pull the resources together, if you can look at some of the Asians' cultures, that's how they start when they come to a country.
Collective.
They come collectively, and they put their resources together. And sometimes you have to make great sacrifices. You may have to come and get one home, and 2 or 3 families live in that home until you can build your resources. So I believe that nothing comes from hard work. And in order to have anything, without a sacrifice, there is no reward. So somewhere you got to figure out where is going to be your sacrifice.
Oh.
Whether you delay family, whether you delay getting the nice car. I can remember when my son graduated from college, it's the culture of all young Black Americans. Once they finish college, they want to go get the fine car.
like Dodge.
Yes.
Ferrari.
Yes.
Yeah.
They want to go. But I told my son, because he wanted to go get a Mercedes, I said, first of all, you don't have the means to take care of the Mercedes.
Service it, maintain it.
To maintain it. I said, but that's the wrong thing to do. I said, first of all, you have a nice car. It's in great condition. It's only 3 years old. It was a Honda Civic. I said, why don't you just keep that car and save your resources and start investing in something that is going to be long-term that will give you a reward back. And so I convinced him and started doing that before his credit was messed up to go and purchase him a home. And so he was wise enough and he followed my instruction and he went and got him a home and to start out, because one thing in America is equity in your home bring resources. For example, right now, the home that I purchased it for $300,000. Now it's worth way over $700,000.
So the value appreciates.
So the appreciation of my home have went up. So now I can take that resource out of that and I can go and apply it somewhere else. So property, homes, is always the best way to go. I have always saying, when all of my kids graduated, I have 4 kids and 3 of them are college graduates. And when they finished college, I told them we're no longer renters, we're owners.
Owners, ooh.
So
Amen.
they all went out when they was 22 years old and they purchased their first home. And most of them now is on not their first home, but their second home. Because they were able to upgrade and they were able to upgrade. But it gave them a solid foundation. And so with that foundation, they were able to understand wealth. They were able to understand how money grows. They did not go and get into debt, but they
So
put their money in places that is going to grow money. And one thing about cars depreciate, but
houses
land and
appreciate.
houses appreciate. So you can never go wrong in investing in any type of property.
And from what I gather, you're saying find some way to start.
Find some way to start.
There is an increasing trend, and I say this with a bit of sadness, in Zimbabwe, where people are falling victim to unruly, fraudulent elements who are coming and misleading people, selling non-existent properties, taking advantage of the system at the deeds office. And in most cases, those people overlook certain fundamental procedures like due diligence, the need to research, the need to embark on, like I said, due diligence. Have you encountered something of that nature?
Yes, I've heard of that. But when I got started out, the first thing I went to is I found a worthy lawyer that understood real estate,
Okay.
that could overlook everything that I was doing in the process to ensure that they can go in and then they can evaluate and they can come back and let me know that this is the property. The deeds are clear. They are the owner of the deeds and those things. And that would eliminate you for being
Defrauded.
by anybody, because unfortunately in everything in the world where there is profit, there always will be scammers. And we always have to look out for that. And if you're trying to establish something, and the worst thing you can do is get discouraged because you were scammed by someone on the outside. So I would just recommend it, or go to different types of seminars. There are a lot of seminars on real estate, how to invest, how to get into real estate, how to do those things. There are thousands of books that you can read to learn about real estate. So before you go and just venture in, and there's a lot of mentors. Find you a mentor that has someone that you know of that have done this before.
Someone
Talk
like
with
you.
them. Yes. Someone that can mentor them and talk with them, and also maybe walk you through your first process until you get a great understanding. And so that you won't be defrauded by the frauds that are out here in the world.
Awesome. Raymond, it's so inspirational talking to you, because I see that you have a pragmatic approach to your business. You know what could go wrong. You're not shutting off the possibility that something can go wrong. But then you go on to give us tips on how we might prevent that. But I want to ask a question, and this is a question relating to whether, in your view, from your limited time in Zimbabwe, the debate between commercial and housing, commercial real estate and housing, from what you've observed, what does Zimbabwe need more in terms of investment?
There's definitely a need for housing. There are several people and families that are living in housing that is not up to standard for the number or the size of people that are living in those houses. So I think it's a great need for housing for the people. The thing that I see here in Zimbabwe is there's just not affordable houses for people to live in that has a low income. And so they're forced to live multiple family into one household. So if some way, or the government or anybody that could see where they could give housing where it's affordable for people.
And do you think that's an investment opportunity?
Yes,
because
that
a problem
definitely is
equals
an investment opportunity for anyone. You just cannot go wrong. I have never really haven't ventured into the commercial market, but I'm sure as time goes that I will venture into
the
that.
commercial
I have a realtor by the name of Mr. Shepherd, and we was discussing yesterday. And he was talking about the commercial real estate property and the profit that goes into that. And so that's something that I'm definitely going to be looking into on
As
my
well.
return also. Because I believe that in order for you to be successful, you just can't put your eggs all in the same basket. You got to be diversified in real estate to ensure that you'll maximize the best income that you can for all over that you tap into every resource in real estate that Zimbabwe have. Now, I'm not familiar with Zimbabwe. That's why I have hired an assistant to assist me that knows real estate, knows where the best deals are, knows how to research different property, knows how to gather information, knows where the best deals is. You know, he have even shared with me, even in building clusters, that maybe you can find a decapitated house somewhere and gradually fix it up. So that's a good way to start, because you can find some nice properties that could be that have gone down over the years, but you can bring it back to life, and you may find out it's cheaper to get into that to start off first, and then you can just travel from that. That was one of the ways I got started in the United States. I went and found decapitated houses,
And you
and I
upscaled.
got them for cheap. And now I could take my time on my first one to get it where it needed to be, where I was able to either sell or I was able to bring in a rental. So it's always good. It doesn't matter how big the property is, where the property is at. Some people prefer different areas. Of course, yes, some areas it does bring more income in, but people have to live every place. Every economic group has to have a place to live. And so you can't go wrong. Now, you may pay too much for a property, and it may take you longer to get your revenue back, but you never go wrong with real estate.
Because you can see it, as you
you can see
said
it.
at the beginning. And you know what's interesting and pleasing for me is the fact that despite the challenges that are there and characteristic of anywhere really, you still see opportunity in the Zimbabwean real estate sector.
Yes.
That's really encouraging. And I think more so because as you walk around the country, you see that there's a construction boom that's going on, and people are building. And so the last thing perhaps that I might ask you, Raymond, is just to inspire someone listening to us right now and thinking, I'm going to be like Raymond, I'm going to do that, right? What words of encouragement do you have for them?
The word of encouragement I would have for anybody is to be patient. Over time, keep a vision, keep your mind focused, plant seeds, be creative. Think of more than one way that you can gather income. There's several ways that income can come. Find those ways. Be willing to work hard. A lazy man will never, ever be wealthy. A man that slumber and sleep will never, ever gain wealth. One thing is get up early in the morning before everyone else. Look around you, drive around. And when I'm back home, when I was just starting out, I would just get in my car and just drive around to different neighborhoods and just see what was there and what was happening. Find out what is happening in your neighborhood. Find out what's happening in the next neighborhood. Find out what's going on in the next neighborhood. Look at properties that have been sitting there for a long time and inquire about them and find out what would it take for you to get into that. Just be diligent in everything that you do. Work hard. Press your way. Don't let the circumstances of your surrounding develop you and what you're going to become. Rise up above your element. And when you rise up above your element, I guarantee you, you will find success all the time.
Wow. Thank you, Raymond. I'm inspired. I'm gonna make a plan, as you say, and I don't know about the viewers, but I'm inspired. Thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time in your busy schedule to come and share your expertise and to share what you know about the market. Thank you so much. We're grateful.
And thank you for having me. It was a great pleasure, and I hope that something that I said have inspired someone, that they would change the outlook on their life of tomorrow.
Amen. Thank you. It's been unbiased, and you guys have been a great audience. Thank you.